thank you so much for being here and doing all that you do. I was telling you off camera, we were just in Edmonton and we skated outside the first time in Rundle Park. It was freezing. So how did you, coming from Edmonton, from Canada, living out your dreams and everything, how does it feel to be here and helping everyone?
It's actually pretty wild growing up in Edmonton and finding myself, however many years later in Vegas for hockey, because to me that would have been something that I would have thought would have not happened, an NHL team in Vegas. But man, it's so cool. Obviously, Edmonton minus 40, yeah, it's cold. We get to skate outside. You think of Vegas and you think of hockey. I didn't think it would be so popular, but man, it's crazy. People love hockey here. I've been to a couple Golden Knights games. It was so much fun. So it's obviously to see why people enjoy going. But now we get to come down here and run street hockey and try to build up the game of hockey through just playing on the street. And it's probably going to be a little bit more accessible, and you won't freeze your butt off like you would in Edmonton, right? So I don't know, it's just cool. It just feels good, right? To be in a market that's so excited about our sport, that's having a good time with it, and it's just fun.
Grant, you were saying that your mother is a doctor, and so I'm curious, with you wanting the dream of going into hockey, what was the support like?
Well, to be honest, I always treated hockey trying to make the NHL like a lottery ticket. It was something I worked really hard at, but I knew that I had to stay in school and have other more realistic dreams, because it was it's like a lottery ticket. You don't go buy a lottery ticket and then stop doing everything else because you're expecting to win, right? It's kind of like hockey. I worked really hard and I did everything I could, but there's still so many things that could get in the way of actually making the NHL. So it was always a priority to me, to do really good in school and have those other dreams and have those other options, because I knew how fickle the dream of playing professional sports was, right? So obviously it worked out, and I'm really happy for that. But I'm actually, looking back, so grateful that I had other priorities and had other things that were probably legitimately more important, right? Because it allowed me to do things after hockey. I went back to school. My last couple of years of playing NHL, I went back to school and did distance education for sustainability. I got my degree, stuff like that, where had I just kind of only focused on hockey, I feel like I would have had a really fun time in the NHL, but then probably been fairly lost after the fact.
So did that lead to your new position with the NHL, what you're doing because of the schooling?
Yeah, well, during my career, I worked on a lot of environmental initiatives, as a player. I organized our union to go carbon neutral, for all of our travel and stuff like that. So I worked on some stuff as a player, and then went to school to kind of, put some meat on the bones education-wise. And it did. It led directly into, a role of working on sustainability, working on, some of our growth within the game. But I guess beyond that, it was just fun. It was actually, I really enjoyed going back to school as an adult and older, and kind of with a little bit of better understanding of who I was and what I was really interested in, and sitting in class, I feel like you're just, tuned in a little bit more, because you're really genuinely interested in the topics. You sit through elementary school sometimes, and I think the one panelist, our most valuable teacher, touched on it, and you're like, why am I learning this? Why am I ever going to use this? And it's true. That's just the way it is, right? Sometimes it's hard to see that as a kid. But as an older student, you're like, I know exactly what I'm going to use this for. I know exactly what I want to do with this. And it was just such a great experience.
Well, you talked about being curious as your advice to kids and really adults, and you say we lose that as we get older. So I really would love to get a message, and whether it's to somebody who's just getting knocked down, getting said no to their dreams over and over, what success message or words of encouragement do you have for them?
Well, unfortunately, I think people feel like they have to be good at things right away or get it right, the first time. It's mistakes can be a blessing. They can be frustrating for sure, and they can be, you can get you down, but they're always an opportunity, right? You can always learn something from it. I'm not one to promote sitting there and making the same mistake over and over and over again. That's crazy, right? But you can't be afraid to try things that you're not good at, and try things that you really have no clue about, or saying yes to a friend or an acquaintance that like invites you to do something that you have no idea, how it works. Like, just do it, like, and it's going to add something to your life. It might not be your thing, but like, there's always like little pieces that you can pick up from, other elements of life or other people from different backgrounds or other people with different interests. And, if you lose that, ability to say yes to new things or like that ability to just be curious and like try new things, like it really, yeah, it does. It creates kind of a boring life that, you really only associate with a very small number of people that are kind of just like you. And it's kind of lame.
Well, thank you so much. Continued success. Thank you for all that you're doing for our communities and for the earth.
Yeah, well, no, thanks for talking. It was good.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I'm in Learn to Play. And no, cut.
Okay.
Cut. I'm in Learn to Play. What advice do you have for me?
Oh man, Learn to Play. You're lucky. That's a good program. What advice do I have for you? I would say don't get frustrated because hockey can be pretty tough. And it takes a little bit to learn, right? Like it's pretty hard to be good at it like right away. So it's kind of a really good lesson for life because a lot of the great things in life are pretty tough and you don't get to learn them and be perfect at them like right away. It takes time, right? You got to do it a lot of times over and over and over again. But eventually you wake up one day and you're like, wow, I'm pretty good at this. That's pretty awesome. And then it feels really good.
I'm good at stick handling too.
Well, that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're already like way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, because I can stick handle with my eyes up while skating.
Man, I'm still learning how to do that. Can you teach me?
You're in professional hockey. How do you not know how to stick handle?
I was just kind of kidding. I do know how to stick handle, but I wasn't kidding that it took me probably the longest time. That was the hardest part of hockey for me. I knew how to skate pretty good and all that, but stick handling with your eyes up, that's like one of the hardest things. So if you already know how to do that, like, I'm not kidding. You know how to do one of the hardest parts about hockey.
That's pretty awesome, right? Well, thank you so much for taking your time and being with us today.
Yeah, thanks. You keep at it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.